Welcome to another video that I'm making with a person who's sitting next to me, and that's it.
Hi.
We're doing the most overrated and underrated video games of all time. I think we'll first start with overrated so we can get our fucking juices flowing, so we can get arguments going.
Okay.
And I'm split this into loads of parts that I can get for
Be
YouTube
ready.
money, baby!
Be ready to hit that unsubscribe button.
This is it.
Put the mouse over the button.
My whole channel hits a nosedive, and that one whole subscriber I have.
It's hard to nosedive when you're not even high up in the first place.
You don't like fucking... I don't know, what's a popular game at the moment?
Fortnite.
You don't like PUBG on mobile? Well, actually, I like Fortnite, that's right.
Yeah, Fortnite's good.
Yeah, so it's not Fortnite, guys.
If you like Fortnite and want to see some more quality Fortnite content, make sure you subscribe to this channel.
Make sure, smash that like button. I hate my life. Smash my head over the head with an egg. Just so we're clear, overrated doesn't mean like a game that is bad or, you know, people generally is agreed to be bad. Like Earthbound, I wouldn't say is underrated because quite honestly right now it's rated as it should be. It's known as one of the classics. But overrated as in it is heavily praised by reviewers and general public opinion, and yet you think it's not that great for various reasons.
Sometimes it's hard to decide what's actually rated and what's not.
Yes.
So, like, you know, just bear with.
Like, there are some games that will probably say that you're like, well, of course it's not that good. But, you know, whatever. It's just from what I've heard people say is really good. So, shall I start off?
Let's go.
I'm going to go ahead and...
Number one!
No, let's not. First game I'm going to say is the original Sonic the Hedgehog.
I already regret doing this.
Oh, yeah. I could see the veins bulging on Matt's purple head.
Well, go on, explain yourself.
I think it doesn't hit its stride until at least 2 or 3, because there's just too many precise platforming segments, and the game is clearly built around go fast to have cool. Look at this blast processing engine, which is great when you're hitting the stride. Fantastic. I see why people like it, but there's just too much of that. Slow.
You're right that Sonic Adventure 2 is seen as the classic, if not 3.
It's Sonic Adventure 2.
Sonic Adventure 2.
That is...
Sonic
no.
Adventure
You're
2.
not even good enough to beat my fake.
that masterpiece. Sonic 2 is seen as the classic. I'll let it go because you are right. Sonic 1 isn't as good as 2 and 3. And it does have problems.
Mm. That's it.
I'm
surprised. I was expecting a knife in the neck.
If you went to Sonic 2, there would have been knives coming out.
No. I mean, Sonic 2's got like the best music. It's got really great, cool looking zones and stuff. I mean, I played it with Otis and I was like, I fucking hate Sonic or whatever. But you know, after playing Sonic Mania, I don't know. I appreciated the series a bit more. It was fun. And you just sort of, it's not like, yeah, it's not like serious art. It's fun. It's really fun, and that's what it is.
Yep. I don't know about overrated, but Sonic 1 is worse than 2 and 3. So, okay, I can see why.
That's the thing. I don't know. I thought Sonic 1 was rated quite highly, but I guess it's not really viewed that highly in the community.
Not compared to 2 and 3.
No, definitely not.
I think that if you're a big fan of 2D Sonic games, most people aren't going to pick 1 as their favourite. You know what I mean?
No, it's 2 usually.
Yep.
Or Knuckles.
Or 3, yeah.
Or Knuckles. Or Mania.
Yep.
Go ahead, Matt. What's your first overrated game?
First overrated. Oh, we didn't overrated. Let's just get it out of the way because I actually feel like the general opinion on this game has actually gone this way already, but I'm still bringing it up because of how universally praised and loved it was when it was first released. Let me cough.
Oh boy.
Skyward Sword. Legend of Zelda, Skyward Sword. It's not good. I don't think it's even a good game.
Really?
Let alone overrated.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's
I
a
understand,
good game.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's coming out with, oh, it's perfect, it's all this, full scores, 90s. You know, everybody went mental for it.
Just for you, it's still in, I think it's 92% on Metacritic currently.
The flying around in the sky is dull and boring.
It's awful.
And pointless. It's a grey void of nothing. Isn't there like 4 dungeons which you repeat twice?
There's
less dungeons.
There's 3 areas
Yeah.
which you repeat once
twice.
each. There's 6 dungeons.
Right.
Or 7 if you...
It's less Zelda content. You do more repeating stuff. You do more dumb stuff you don't want to do. What did it change about the series in any way? What did it add?
I agree with you that I can't remember anything about Skyward Sword except for a few things which I think are fantastic. But apart from that, as an overall game, yeah, crap. Not crap. I don't think it's crap.
The sword fighting, they tried to do the one-to-one sword fighting with the Wii Motion Plus.
Sure, I thought the sword fighting was fine. It worked fine for me.
It's just about fine, but it's
fine.
Good.
If people thought that it didn't work for them, I can understand why they'd hate it. It worked for me fine, pretty much all the time. So I was more forgiving of it. But I can also see why people would hate it. I think the repeating areas is fucking awful. Yep. It's dreadful. I think the fucking... What was the fucking... You have to go collect... Like, you have to sneak around and collect items.
Yeah.
Good God, how awful. I hated it when Twilight Princess did that, let alone fucking this game.
Yeah.
It was awful. I hated how dull the temples and the general layout and moments from the game are.
Dull is the word to describe this game. It's very dull.
I mean, it has, like, you can upgrade your weapons and stuff and upgrade shields and... Okay, adding more RPG elements to Zelda, fine, you know, it's cool, but okay, whatever.
Yeah.
I think the Time Temple dungeon with the ship is a fucking masterpiece. They really do really good design there.
Yeah.
The bosses are dreadful.
Oh, the time one is actually fair enough. That's the one kind of shining light.
Yeah. It's the only thing I remember of that game, which I was like, I really like that. They got rid of canon of the game for no reason other than we need to make something new. Yeah. It's like we've got the octopus people that are the Zoras. We've got the weird fucking Kiwi people. Okay, we've got the Diggy Mogmas. Can we just have our fucking Gorons and Zoras and shit? We don't need fucking. They got rid of Ganondorf and made him Demise. Fucking dumb.
Maybe I don't really mind about all that. I more mind that.
If it was for a purpose, I'd be fine with it. But it's not. It's just we want to make something new. Well, you might as well just call him Ganon.
One more thing. The hand-holding at the start of the game is absolutely ridiculous.
It's one of the worst intros to a game, yeah.
Absolutely hours and hours on end of bad tutorials. It is bad.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how it got away with so much in the reviews and the reception when it initially released.
I agree.
I think now most people would actually agree with this, that when we say it's overrated. But at the time, it was rated extremely highly. And I don't. So
it came out the same day as Skyrim, and I opted to buy this, and I was like, "Oh, it's a new Zelda game, great! Yeah, this is great. Shooting things with the motion controls, cool." And then I played Skyrim, and I was like, "Oh,
yeah,
okay, yeah, that's the better game." Yeah. What else was there? There was there was one other thing that I hated about that game, apart from the forgettableness of the game, which is obviously a big point, but the flying, I don't understand how they could think that was finished.
Yeah, it's
like it's almost like they were like, oh, we're gonna do the Wind Waker Ocean but in the sky, and I was like, great, fucking well up for that.
But it wasn't that.
But it was like one or two like small places to visit that had a mini game on it. Or...
Yeah, you go from A to B, and then at some points there's some like small patches of lights in the cloud. And you go down and you knock open a chest.
Oh, and you fucking doused. Dreadful. Slowed the pace of the game down. You found a chest, knocked it into the sky. You flew around a dull wasteland to the sky. Open the chest. You get 50 rupees. Oh.
Dowsing is absolutely awful.
Dreadful.
As well, by the way. And you do too much of it.
And I mean, Girahim was cool, I guess.
Yeah.
like an interesting villain at least, but like
not enough to
then
say
it's
that.
like, oh, by the way, it's Ganon again, but not really, sort of, maybe.
Yeah.
And then there was like the thing that was constantly being summoned, but like it was really glitchy and weird because that works sometimes that it would randomly be summoned.
Yeah.
I don't know, it was weird.
Bad game.
Yeah. Oh, and I don't remember any good music apart from that. The fact that they reversed the Zelda's Lullaby.
Yeah.
And that was it. Like,
I mean,
usually there's great music in
the
every
whole
game.
thing is forgettable. It added nothing. Nothing, you know. The franchise takes nothing from that game and says, we'll do that again because it worked the first time.
Sure. Even Breath of the Wild when we're not even going to use the motion controls. Fuck that.
Yeah.
It's like, you suppose you got to crack a few eggs to make Breath of the Wild, so.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you 100% here.
But you're right. If it was good, listen. If it was good, then they would have kept the fucking, or they would have kept some sort of motion control. Is your sword in Breath of the Wild? They would have kept, you know, I don't know, dowsing.
They kept the upgrading and the sprinting.
Yeah.
But like, they implemented it in a game which worked brilliantly with the mechanics.
They would have kept having a certain amount of areas which you do twice or whatever. But they got rid of it all because they knew that it never worked.
I get the feeling that the biggest problem with that game is the lack of creative puzzle and dungeon design.
That too. Apart from that ship one, the time travel ship thing.
The ship one was great.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like they went, this is the one.
Yeah.
Oh, and the fucking bosses was dreadful, by the way. Can we not talk about that? Like, how bad we had to fight Girahim twice.
Yeah, because you do everything in that game more than once.
The most interesting boss fight is the fucking pirate you fight in the pirate ship, and that's the mini boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a dull experience.
Moving on to my next game, which I think is overrated. BioShock Infinite.
Okay. I agree with this one to an extent.
Yeah. BioShock, I think's nearly a masterpiece.
Yeah, BioShock 1.
It slowly, from its mechanics, it restricts you to a wrench, which makes it purely makes the game a horror.
Yeah.
Because you're weak, fragile, you'll die quickly, you haven't got much strength or gathered resources. And so you work through this horror nightmare of a game that has some great tense atmosphere, story that unfolds gradually, great twists, great story. Then in the second half of the game, you've got enough weapons and upgrades and shit that you're powerful. And so the game opens up and becomes an action game, which is great. It works with the mechanics, and it flows well, and it ends. I mean, the ending is pretty trash.
Yeah.
But
wait, BioShock 1?
Yeah.
No, it's not. I love the
escort.
Anyway, Infinite.
The escort and then the final boss.
Yeah.
That lets the game down a little bit.
Alright, okay.
But I mean, apart from that, game's fantastic.
Yeah.
And then BioShock Infinite, 2 guns maximum, and it expects to be a fucking action game. You kiss my ass.
I think the shooting is better than it's ever been. It feels much more like a shooter, like it's a first person shooter rather than a BioShock kind of game.
And the plasmids, I remember there was bees.
Maybe I would have liked this more if it didn't have the BioShock name attached. But
maybe I feel like the different like opening riffs was very underused.
Yeah.
Like, you can have a hook up there, so now I can hook up there and shoot a thing. Or I could just stay here and shoot the thing. It was like they didn't make it, and they were like, everyone was worried it was going to be an escort.
Yeah,
but it wasn't. It was just she just randomly provides you.
So about this, you can't come out and say, okay, we have a companion that follows you the whole game. But don't worry, because we fixed the whole problem with escorts.
It's not fucking Alex Vance from Half-Life 2.
Don't worry, guys. Every problem that you have with escorts in another game, we fixed it. Because in this one, no one shoots her. She doesn't take damage.
Yeah.
And she randomly chucks you ammo.
She is Navi from fucking Legend of Zelda.
The fix is that she doesn't exist to the enemies.
Yeah, which they do in another game, which I will have on this list. And I hate it.
It's weird. Like, she's obviously in the world, but the enemies just don't shoot her.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you don't have to protect her.
If she specifically went, I'm gonna hide now.
Yeah.
Then I'd be like, okay, cool, whatever. It makes sense.
She chucks your ammo at random points, but even with that,
you don't even need the ammo or the coin or whatever.
If I'm not mistaken, even with that, it's not like there's ammo on the map and she goes and picks it up and chucks it to you.
No.
I think she just like
randomly
auto-generates it.
She does, yes.
It's like, and she's like, here you go, and it's like, well, where'd you get that from?
Sure.
Like, it doesn't make sense. The game looks great.
The game looks great, and it's in the sky, really cool. Yeah, okay, and it's in the 1910s.
Oh, the big ending with all like the time travel stuff literally doesn't make sense.
Rolled my eyes so hard.
And it's not just.
It's not time travel. It's fucking parallel dimensions.
Sorry, parallel dimensions. And
same diff.
It doesn't really work because you can't really.
But you're also meant to. You're also meant to.
Yeah,
you're meant to feel that your player character will become a tyrannical dictator.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, I don't think many people were like, oh, I don't think I would. If it was like you make the choice, then it'd be like, okay, I understand. But it doesn't. It's just, oh, we have to kill you now because we know you become the bad guy. It's like, well, surely this experience will make me not become the bad guy unless fate is written or whatever.
Right. If you overthink it, you can just pick holes in it.
There's fucking stories.
Because it's not there.
I was like, whatever. And it was just, I just didn't find it that fun to play.
I didn't finish it. I finished BioShock 1 plenty of times.
Really? That's fair enough. I hated that it threw a new gun at you, but you'd already upgraded your previous guns so much that there was no point in replacing them. So it's like, that looks cool, and I'm sure it's great upgraded, but I'd have to get rid of my 2 good guns.
Yeah.
If it had 8 weapon slots, fine. I think that game would have been a lot better. I genuinely think it would have opened up more creative play options.
Yeah.
I just don't remember much about it, apart from...
it's not bad. I'd play it over Skyward Sword.
Yes.
It's just a bit overrated.
I agree. Well, yeah, I mean, it's like... I'm not saying it's like Dark Souls 2 to Dark Souls 1, in that Dark Souls 2 is clearly considered inferior.
Yeah.
But I'd play that game over anything.
Yeah.
A lot of things. But, you know, it got like in the fucking 90s. Again, like BioShock.
It was rated very highly.
Yeah.
Too high.
What's your next one, Matt?
Let's stay on the I hate Zelda hype train.
Oh, yeah?
Which I don't. Wind Waker is one of my faves of all time. Wind Waker's top 3.
Okay.
Before anyone kicks off. Twilight Princess is overrated.
Really? Okay.
Twilight Princess is overrated. It's not bad. It's not a bad game. In fact, it's a good game.
It got 90s in the Metacritic.
It's just not the saviour of all video games.
I agree.
That it was touted as.
I think it's very good, but it will never touch the Ocarina of Time, Link to the Past, Wind Waker, Breath of the Wild.
It doesn't need to.
Those 4 are like untouchable, I think.
It doesn't need to, but it was, you know...
Touted as one of those.
Touted as it was one of those.
Yes, I agree.
Way. The whole wolf stuff, like the actual gameplay with Wolf Link, didn't really do anything for me.
Yeah.
Whereas those sections
it was
were
like,
drab.
Kill these bugs and then get Twilight back or something.
It's
whatever.
There's one thing saying this game is influenced by Ocarina of Time, and there's another thing which is we're doing Ocarina of Time again.
We're doing Ocarina of Time again because people weren't happy with the art style of Wind Waker for some reason.
Yeah.
And then they immediately go, "Well, that was dumb. We should just, you know, people like it. Like, it's fucking. Why did we do that? I mean, they tried to make it dark, but it wasn't really. The only thing I found interesting. Well, no. Okay, I liked a lot of Twilight Princess. I liked the fact that you get 2 hook shots.
Yeah.
I like some of the dungeons. Like the Temple of Time is probably my favourite dungeon of all time.
Right. Okay.
Because I love the whole linearity of it, but it's not. There's just a lot of content. There's a lot of great puzzles and great dungeon design in it. And I like that you get finishing moves that are potentially taught by the Ocarina of Time Link.
Yeah.
Cool. Great stuff. It's a big, nice map, and it looks and feels cool to explore, and there's a lot of side missions that are cool. Like, it's good. I like it a lot. But I would never put it in my top 10 or top 20 probably, or even top 30 probably.
Twilight Princess has the Zelda thing where it falls into the whole of you go into a dungeon, you get an item, you use it to complete that dungeon, and then in other Zelda games you then use that item in the outside world and get to different places.
It's
and
very stuck in the formula.
In other Zelda games you then use that item in other dungeons, but not in Twilight Princess. You get the item in the dungeon, you use it to complete that dungeon,
the spinner and the ball.
You never use it again.
Yeah.
The big chain chomp.
The big chain, the Dominion rod, yeah.
The spinner, you use them once in a dungeon, you never touch them again.
Yeah, there's like 1 or 2 puzzles that are in the outside world, and that's it. But yeah, I 100% agree. Yeah, I think some of the dungeons thought, like the mansion dungeon was interesting in concept, but it was a really plain and boring dungeon.
Yeah.
Some of the, I think the Twilight people were quite interesting, and I like the weird abstract like cutscenes.
Yeah.
Where it showed like two blind fucking, not blind, but like white-eyed Dark Links looking at the Triforce and stuff. I'm like, that's fucking like David Lynch shit.
Those are good.
Cool.
Like I said, it's not bad. It's just not perfect, like everybody said it.
And let's talk about the Ganon in the room. In that Zan, great villain, because he's weird, new, and he's completely and utterly not like any of the villains before. He's not just like, I'm evil, I'm going to... He's just like a fucking child who's been given too much power. And he's weird and crazy and interesting. And then right at the last minute, Ganon's the bad guy though, because
it has to be. It's a Zelda game.
Like, fine. I like Ganon a lot. I like him as a villain. And I think if you make him the villain from the start, he's great. But it kind of feels like, we can't not have Ganon as the villain.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Majora, when they did that, what a villain that is. This is the most sinister villain I've ever seen. But that's because he was the villain right from the start. It wasn't Ganon wearing the mask or something. It was just Majora.
I don't hate Twilight Princess. I just think it's overrated. Also, not in for the... I'm talking about, it's on GameCube 2, which I think is actually marginally better, because the Wii one has Waggle the Wiimote to use your sword.
That's the only time I played it.
That shit has aged horribly.
Oh yeah, sure.
Horribly.
Yeah. I to be fair, everybody moans about the waggle stuff. It's like, whatever, I could just literally move my wrist. It wasn't like I had to fucking do Skyward Sword, move my whole arm. And I like that you can point at the screen to shoot an arrow, because it's slightly more, that's like better for me.
Yeah, I guess.
But like, yeah, it's kind of annoying.